In Melbourne, Australia, Srila Prabhupada worships Lord Chaitanya, a divine incarnation of Krishna.
By Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, we have installed the deity here in your country. We are very fortunate that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to your country to teach you how you become free of all anxiety. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Everyone is full of anxiety, but everyone can be free from all the anxieties if he follows the path chalked out by Sri Chaitanya Prabhu. As people are followed in this age, the method also has been offered very simply. They have been recommended simply to chant the holy name of God. That's all.
For 5 years after first arriving in America, Srila Prabhupada presents Krishna consciousness primarily to Westerners, from housewives to hippies to heads of state. Then, in November 1971, after a world tour, he returns to Delhi with some of his followers. The mayor receives him with the fanfare that greets a homecoming patriot. Prabhupada quotes Lord Chaitanya. It is the duty of those born in India to benefit others by spreading Krishna consciousness. This is India's greatest glory, her unique gift to the world. 30,000 Indians gather nightly at the Delhi fairgrounds to see the Western devotees and hear Prabhupada speak.
To bring about this change in India, that the revival of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada's plan was to bring his dancing white elephants. He told us that when I bring my Western disciples to India, they will all come to see my dancing white elephants, he said. So we were actually very fond of being Prabhupada's dancing white elephants. We took that as the special mercy of Prabhupada on us, that we could be his dancing white elephants and help him in any way we could to preach Krishna consciousness in India. Prabhupada was told by an astrologer in Navadip in West Bengal that when he saw Prabhupada's face, a photo of Prabhupada, he said, this man, he has the ability to make a house in which the whole world can live peacefully. To make a house in which the whole world can live very peacefully. And when I told Prabhupada that, he said, yes, that is my mission, that within Krishna consciousness, the whole world can live peacefully.
While the Hare Krishna movement spreads worldwide, Srila Prabhupada wants to nurture its roots in India. He journeys to Mayapur, West Bengal, the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. It was Lord Chaitanya who inaugurated, 500 years ago, the congregational chanting of God's holy names. In Mayapur, devotees purchase a small tract of land and start constructing an international guest house. For a handful of devotees who know nothing about construction, this is not an easy task. Srila Prabhupada directs and encourages them. For ourselves, he says, we are happy and satisfied living in a grass hut. But if we simply have a hut, who will come here? The more we develop our land, the more people will be attracted. Prabhupada plans to build a temple of understanding to house the world's largest planetarium, and around it, a spiritual city with schools, shops, farms, and many temples for worshipping Lord Krishna. Within the hearts of India's people is a natural respect for the eternal Krishna-conscious culture. Many come forward to take part in Srila Prabhupada's movement and accept initiation from him. No one should go hungry within a 10-mile radius of the temple, Prabhupada instructs. In March 1972, devotees start the ISKCON Food Relief Program, distributing prasad, vegetarian food offered to Lord Krishna. As the Mayapur project develops, Prabhupada invites his disciples from 6 continents to join together yearly on the anniversary of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. Prabhupada wants them to be purified and inspired by remembrance of the Lord in his holy land. In Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada treats his followers to a guided tour of the holy places and personally relates Lord Krishna's pastimes. The devotees relish a bath in the sacred waters of the Yamuna River. Prabhupada acquires land in Bombay, India's most cosmopolitan city. Although he has only a hut for a temple, Prabhupada envisions an international cultural center. His ambition is to give as many people as possible access to the nectar of transcendental life, whether through philosophy, service, or spiritual food, so that everyone can become happy, hopeful, and peaceful. Dr. N.D. Desai, a leading Bombay industrialist, recalls.
From 1971 through 1977, I must have met Prabhupada many, many times. And each time I met Prabhupada, I would try to find fault with him. And even I would try to make him angry, or I once even tried to find out whether he was greedy. I just couldn't find any fault with him. And in fact, you know, in matter of business life or daily life, we do try to see the weakness of the other person, and sometimes we try to, as a businessman, try to take advantage. But here was a person who just wouldn't become agitated. There was absolutely no lust in him. There was no greed in him. There was, I couldn't see a spot of jealousy in him. And then I realized, after 6 years of that he was a very empowered, divine person.
Gradually, Srila Prabhupada says, I am seeing all my dreams being fulfilled. In Bombay, a spacious marble temple, a theater, a restaurant, a library, and a twin-towered 7-story hotel. In Mayapur, the planned spiritual city develops. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. In Vrindavan, the popular Krishna Balaram Temple, an international guest house, and a secondary school. Prabhupada sees his society grow into a worldwide confederation with more than 100 temples, restaurants, institutes, schools, and farm communities. 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya predicted that one day the holy name of Krishna would be heard in every town and village of the world. By the mid-70s, Hare Krishna becomes a household word.
When I first met the first Hare Krishnas, I can remember how surprised I was, and really I wondered what this meant. The costumes and the chanting and the shaved heads appeared a little strange, a little bizarre to me. But the more I came to know the movement, I came to find that there was a striking similarity in the essence of what they were teaching and saying, and in my understanding of the original core of Christianity. That is, living simply, not trying to accumulate worldly goods or profit, living with compassion toward all creatures, sharing, loving, and living joyfully. I am impressed with how much the teaching of one man in the spiritual tradition that he brought has impacted itself into the lives of so many people. So in my own view, his contribution is a very important one and will be a lasting one.
As a child, Srila Prabhupada celebrated Ratha Yatra near his home in Calcutta with his playmates. Years later, he is still celebrating the Ratha Yatra festival. but now on the main streets of 20 large cities around the world, and with hundreds of thousands of disciples and guests.
People follow, imitate Americans. I am traveling all over the world. Everywhere I see they are trying to manufacture this skyscraper building, imitating your country. So, if you kindly become Krishna conscious and chant and dance in ecstasy, emotional love of God, the whole world will follow you and it will be Vaikuntha, there will be no more trouble. Thank you very much.